crisis. We're talking about Venezuela once again. Systemic important tanks. They removed the 1,000 thing on here called monetary preparedness. All right, checking in for a Sunday RTD news update. Due to schedule constraints, was kind of challenging to connect over the last couple of days, but wanted to, end this week on sharing some relative information towards the bigger picture of this global push away from the old and into something new. So I got a couple of stories I want to share with you. And as always, I love to put together the articles and my thoughts into a visual aid that I wanted to bring to your attention. So as always, feel free to take these visual aids, share them, put them out there so people can find out what's going on. And of course, curious to get your guys' thoughts as well. So feel free to chime in via chat. Won't be long, but just wanted to connect, share my 2 cents, as well as get yours in the moment. But for those who might be new to the channel, welcome to RTD News Updates, or Rethinking a Dollar channel. Looking forward to connecting. Want to make sure everyone stays plugged in. So as always, if you're new, make sure you click that subscribe button as well as the bell notification so that when we go live, you'll be informed and can stay plugged in. So let's jump right into this current visual aid that I have here. So want to just put together my thoughts real quick. So here you see a lot of, I try not to overwhelm the picture, but it says a lot. And so let me know whatever you see in there that I might have not have recognized. But as you guys can see here, we have that triangle of power, or what has been presented as a triangle of power. So at the very top, you see Joe Brandon or Biden, rather, I'm sorry, sitting there with his hand over his head, just, kind of wondering what's going on. He's, in a daze, not knowing what's going on. And behind him, you see the $100 bill burning a little bit. And then, of course, that other parts of the triangle, which I think is important just because outside of what is being presented to us in the mainstream media, out east, lots of things are happening. And so as you guys can see, let's move to the far left of this visual aid here. You have Ukraine. So America-Ukraine relations are extremely strong just because Ukraine has been used as a puppet state to do all types of demonic, nefarious type of, a lot of nasty things within that country. And of course, can't really go into details, but I do manage to put those things on the Telegram and Discord page. So definitely, if you guys want to see some stuff, check it out, get you thinking. But as you guys can see here, good relation between these two countries here because Ukraine is a puppet state, in my opinion. But yet when it comes to Ukraine and Russia here, we to the far left, because of the pushback against the West in regards to Ukraine, they put on sanctions. So that red line there symbols no contact, no business transactions type of thing flowing between Ukraine and Russia, from what we're being told. And then, of course, in the very middle, this X right here shows that American and Russian relations have been cut off, primarily with the SWIFT being the focal point of all of this. But I have a video that I'm going to put together soon sharing a different light about the SWIFT situation, which I think you guys will find quite interesting because it's not necessarily what's being presented to us is not really the full story. And I'm going to definitely try to get that out. And so here we got the Russian ruble at the very bottom. And I got a little glitch right there. I got to take care of that. But anyway, as you guys see, the Russian ruble here is currently in operation as always, and it's strengthened over the last several months due to the pushback. So obviously with the ruble strengthening against the dollar, there's people out there that find value in the ruble, hence the world moving towards a ruble petrodollar type of conflict underway. We'll get into that. But as you guys can see at the very bottom of this triangle here, we have energy, oil, with the light behind it signifying the Chinese-Russian connection here with the currency swap for energy that's underway now. And it's been going our way for quite some time due to the bilateral trade agreements, nothing new. But on top of that, beneath the Chinese and Russian ruble, we have the BRICS. And of course, the call for the request by the Russian finance minister to basically implement the BRICS payment system, which we've been talking about for quite some time. And then something that will probably be newsworthy in the next week or two or so is looking far right of this. We have the Taiwan situation. So America and Taiwan, as you guys can see at the very top, their relations are strong. Taiwan, another puppet nation for the most part, that America wants to utilize to push back against China on top of other things happening in Taiwan. Is very... so Ukraine and Taiwan happen to be two states that have been hijacked by the globalist cabal, deep state, satanic, evil people. And the U.S. is trying to cover all that up. So as of now, it looks like Janet Yellen perhaps might be looking to push the same type of narrative on China when it comes to Taiwan. So as you guys can see here, The green check mark signifies that at this current moment, American-Chinese relations are in good standing because we consume everything that they produce, barring the lockdowns happening in China with the whole continue to spread stuff and the possibility of ports shutting down. So that might be a problem coming up soon. But then in China, sanctions are on the table as of now if China continues to press towards Taiwan for whatever that is worth there. So real quick, wanted to just jump into some visual aids. But before I do that, I want to kind of set the stage as to why I continue to harp on these issues, just because, in my opinion, they're extremely important to highlight these things because you won't hear about it from anywhere else. And it has everything to do with this current unit right here. And so 2022, we're seeing the sub-zero or the lack of purchasing power of the Federal Reserve note. So therefore, things are shifting behind the scenes. And as always, whenever a fiat currency or a current monetary structure comes to an end, they need as much distractions as possible, as much beyond everything else, to distract and to cover up and to point the blame towards somebody else. And this has a lot to do with this whole shifting of the monetary order, as I always want to point out. And so into this decade, we're going to witness the announcement of some other alternative standard officially that will be recognized. And when that type of stuff happens, bad things happen on the planet as far as, actual physical wars that might be in the future. Who knows, but God forbid. But this is kind of why I always cover the relations happening out east, because I think it helps us see the broader picture as to the change of the monetary order. So let me just jump into a couple of things that caught my attention, and we can talk further about this as well. So for those that are tuned in, thank you for blessing me with your presence. If you don't mind, hit the thumbs up button, show your support for the channel, and that'll help more people get plugged into what's going on here. All right, so real quick, let me jump into some headlines. So this is something that caught my attention. I wasn't able to talk about it, but thought I would at least put it out there for those that may not had a chance to come across it. But sweet and simple, U.S. would use sanctions if China invaded Taiwan, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen says, citing Ukraine war. So once again, we have another deep state puppet, Janet Yellen, former Fed chairwoman / banker, you name it, out here basically playing her part, doing what she's told to do, trying to play hardball as if like the U.S. and China are actually butting heads. And when actuality, I think they're all working together, but they need as many distractions, many different avenues to paint a picture of disarray, all keeping our attention left, right, center, you name it. But anyway, it says, she said the measures against Russia show the U.S. can impose significant pain on aggressive countries. We all know I don't think Russia's really experiencing much pain as the Western media wants us to believe, just because the ruble has strengthened significantly. Therefore, some people are going to it. A lot of countries are running to it. And I'm pretty sure this week we want to hear more about that. So, but once again, they got to make it seem as if their efforts are working. And it says, we're prepared to do the same in other situations, referring to the possibility of China. It says, Yellen also said Biden wants Russia out of the G20, and the U.S. will boycott some meetings in Indonesia if Moscow officials attend. And just to go down here, it just talks more about quoting her saying, I believe we've shown we can impose significant pain on aggressive countries. I think you should not doubt our ability to resolve to do the same in other situations, referring to what's happening in China. So I don't foresee them passing sanctions on their biggest creditor. And as of now, China still holds a significant portion of their reserves in the Federal Reserve Treasury debt obligation. So it's good to say that if something was to if this was to continue to escalate, there will be more Federal Reserve, aka dollar pain, coming soon, because they have to dump that last, I think it's about $2 trillion or so, if I'm not mistaken, of liabilities that they're holding on to. So we will see. But they're talking big. Here's another article here. Sweet and simple. I'll just go through the headlines real quick. And as always, I put all of the links and stuff to this video beneath this video if you guys want to jump in deeper and read for yourself. But China is buying Russian energy with its own currency, making its first commodities paid for in yuan since Western sanctions hit. This is very misleading because currency bilateral swaps have been taking place for several years now. But as I always mentioned, when it becomes a Western media headline, that just lets us know that it's old news given to the West as new news to continue to cause more confusion as well as more mainstream distractions. But this is interesting because one thing that did say here that let me find this real quick. It talks about some of the trends. It says in March, several Chinese firms used yuan to purchase Russian coal, which will be arriving this month and marks the first commodity shipment purchased in China's currency since the war in Ukraine began. So several Chinese companies are purchasing coal at the same time. The East is not complying with that carbon neutral by 2030 agenda that the West is trying to make it seem as if like that's a must or our planet will come to an end. Climate change, global warming, global cooling. It's all about ESG and the banksters behind that. And I got some more information I'm gonna share about that, but I'll let you guys dive further for yourself. And then on another one here, this is something that is old but new because, as I said before, the system is already up and operational, in my opinion. But I think it's worth telling people who might just be coming across it for the first time. But it says Russia calls for integrating BRICS payment system. So real sweet and simple. The finance minister, Anton, I'm not going to butcher his last name, told a ministerial meeting with BRICS, which consists of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, that the global economic situation has worsened substantially. The global economic situation has worsened substantially due to sanctions, the ministry said. It says the new sanctions also destroy the foundation of its existing international monetary and financial system based on the U.S. dollar. It says, quote, this pushes us to the need to speed up the work in the following areas. 1, the use of national currencies for export-import operations. 2, the integration of payment systems and cards. 3, our own financial messaging system. And 4, the creation of an independent BRICS rating agency. Then it goes on to talk about all the other things I've been covering for quite some time now, dealing with the creation of their, credit card system 2015, this SPFS, which is their messaging network, that's an alternative to the SWIFT. So there's more than enough things going on right now to really, should concern a lot of people. And then on the last one here, I see the headline because it's definitely an eye catcher, but it says Bretton Woods 3 ? China begins pushing Russian coal and oil in yuan. And this Bretton Woods 3 label has come about because of the Zotar. So just give you an idea. It says premium sub should recall New York Fed repo guru and current Credit Suisse strategist Zoltan Pozar's stunning note last week that said consequences of the Ukraine war are ushering in, quote, the birth of the Bretton Woods 3, a new world monetary order around commodity-based currencies in the East that will likely weaken the euro-dollar system and also contribute to inflationary pressures in the West. And so that is a result of all the things happening with this current debt-based system. Now, one thing I do not necessarily agree with the way that it's being painted is the whole Bretton Woods 3. So that sounds good on the surface, but mind you, it's not Bretton Woods 3 in resembling the prior Bretton Woods situation, because Janet Yellen last year in June called for Bretton Woods 2.0, or she resembled the need to address things currently in the fashion of a Bretton Woods 2.0. And so this is not a 3, in my opinion, just because it goes well beyond the legacy financial system in regards to using gold solely as an anchor, as well as the other financial products and instruments that have been created that was pre-Web 3, Web 2.0 type of time frame. And the reason I say that is because I think a lot of this has to do more so with the integration of the human biometric cryptographic token side of things, as well as the new tokenization of real world commodities that will be used in the future as new financial instruments that will be created and spun off for the world to use and consume. So basically using technology and the fact that all these nations, in my opinion, are in cahoots to pull off what I would consider to be the ultimate heist over humanity, utilizing technology. And so all three of these nations, Russia, America, and China, they're all in this together. And this has to do with the SWIFT system, of which I've come across some very interesting information that shows how they're telling us that there's a back and forth going on between everybody. But in actuality, they're all working together. And it has to do with just basically the introduction of a new payment system that will be interconnectable or interoperable utilizing blockchain. So anyway, I thought I would just come together real quick, share my 2 cents on this. Won't be long, but this visual aid here pretty much summarizes everything in the 3 articles. Curious to get your guys' thoughts on it. What can I put on there? What can I have taken off? Feel free to let me know. Work in progress as always. But this upcoming week will be a very busy week, I'm sure. So there'll be opportunity for us to connect and to let our voices be heard. So as always, I want to encourage you, stay plugged in, stay prayed up, do everything you can to brace and prepare and just, hey, take advantage of the opportunities that present themselves. And let me leave you with something that I think is worth mentioning, just because this is not my own. This is just me borrowing this from, if you go to U.S. Department of Treasury, which happens to be the financier or the financial house for our country, and this is the legal tender page. You go down to the section where it says, what are Federal Reserve notes and how are they different from United States notes? And it gives you an idea as to what fiat notes, i.e. Federal Reserve notes, are really about. It says Federal Reserve notes are not redeemable in gold, silver, or any other commodity and receive no backing of anything. They have no backing whatsoever. They're just liabilities. It says this has been its way since 1933. It says the notes have no value. They have no value for themselves, but for what you can buy. What can you actually get with those things when you need them most? That's what this is all about. It says because they are legal tender, Federal Reserve notes are backed. They are backed by all goods and services in this economy. And as we move further into this generation here, into this decade rather, and economic and monetary and fiscal conditions become a lot more problematic, you will ultimately be able to buy less and less goods and services with these debt liabilities. So that's something that people who might be new to all this, something you should keep in mind. And that's why I always encourage people to do what is practical, wise, and something that can position you in a much better stance down the line. And that happens to be understanding monetary history and the role of coinage, i.e. gold and silver in particular, as a preservation tool. And everything you do on top of that in the digital space, make it a bonus, but don't make it your bread and butter primarily. But get your weight up and you'll be able to, monetarily speaking, weather whatever type of storms that comes. Just look at what's happening in Lebanon right now, Sri Lanka, Peru, Ukraine. I'm just more countries than I can name, but I'm not going to bore you with all that. We'll talk about that more this week. But anyway, just wanted to connect. If you don't mind, hit the thumbs up button, show your support for the channel. And we'll be back at it this week with just more stuff to talk about. So enjoy the rest of your day. This was a quick live stream. Wanted to get in, share this thoughts. Click the link down below for all the articles and everything else. And you can actually download the visual aid and go from there. But anyway, be blessed, be safe. See you guys later. Peace.
The next recession.
Recession will be a recession.
We're going to hit a recession.
The date of the next recession.
A U.S.-only recession typically lasts 8 to 10 months.
A crash is coming. Now, whether it's 6 months from now, 12 months, 36 months, no one knows.
If you have the right plan to set up, you can make a lot of money from this.